An 11-year-old female from rural Nepal had a symptom so common it barely raised a concern: vomiting. But this was not a passing illness. It went on for days, then weeks, stretching into nearly 2 months. She was admitted to a local hospital, treated for gastritis, and discharged with reassurance. For a moment, it seemed like the problem had been solved, but it hadn't. The vomiting returned, relentless and unexplained. For a second time, she was admitted, and this time the investigations pointed towards mesenteric lymphadenitis and duodenitis, a diagnosis that made sense. Again, she was treated and sent home, but beneath the surface, something far more dangerous was unfolding. A few days later, she arrived at a tertiary hospital in Kathmandu, weaker, more fatigued, and now struggling to speak. Despite the progression, no clear organic cause was found. Now the narrative had shifted. She was labeled with major depressive illness and referred for psychiatric care. What followed was a quiet but devastating turning point. Within days, her left leg became weak, and the weakness spread, first to her other legs, then both arms, until she could barely move. Still, the diagnosis remained psychiatric, now termed a dissociative motor disorder, but the body was telling a different story. Her face began to deviate, her speech slurred. She could not close her right eye. These were not subtle signs, these were warnings. A detailed neurological examination finally revealed what had been missed: multiple cranial nerve palsies, hyperreflexia, and bilateral upgoing plantars. These were clear evidence of an upper motor neuron lesion. This was not functional. This was structural. This was real. An MRI was ordered. It showed long segments of inflammation stretching from the medulla down into the cervical spinal cord, with a critical lesion in the area posterior, the very center responsible for triggering vomiting. And now suddenly everything made sense. The months of unexplained vomiting were never gastrointestinal. They were neurological. They were the earliest cry for help from a brain stem under attack. The final confirmation came through a blood test, anti-aquaporin 4 antibodies, which came to be positive. The diagnosis was Neuromyelitis Optica Spectrum Disorder. It is a rare autoimmune disease capable of silently destroying the central nervous system if left untreated. What had been mistaken for a stomach problem, then for a psychiatric illness, was in fact a progressive neurological condition. The treatment began immediately. High dose of intravenous steroids were given, followed by intravenous immunoglobulins. Slowly, she began to improve. Strength returned to her limbs. Her speech became clearer, and the vomiting, the very first symptom she had, finally stopped. She was discharged on oral steroids after 26 days of hospital stay, with careful follow-up planned. Her recovery was a testament to how close this case had come to a very different outcome. This case is a reminder of how easily the obvious can mislead us. Not every vomiting child has a gastrointestinal disease. Not every unexplained weakness is psychiatric. Sometimes the most dangerous conditions present in the most ordinary ways, and sometimes the body whispers long before it begins to scream. This was taken from a case report published in Annals of Medicine and Surgery in January of 2026. Permission was taken from the corresponding author to discuss this case here. To know more about this case, you can visit the link in the description. And for more case discussions like this, give us a like and subscribe. Thank you.